Imagine the smartest squirrel you can. No matter how hard you try, you won't be able to explain our society to it.
I also have a very good Polish author. He's called Stanisław Lem. He has the book Solaris that you might have heard of, because I know it's kind of internationally known. And then one of the forms of life is an ocean, but it's not an ocean made of water. It's an ocean made of something else. And it's also fascinating about how we could be absolutely unable to communicate with a different species, not only because they would be better than us and they would see us as like just little animals living in the forest, but just because we could never imagine the concept of how they think. Hi everyone, it's Weronika, and today, yet again, I am here on my own to react to some science videos. We're going to continue with Kurzgesagt, I think I got it now, channel. And today we will watch the video on the Fermi Paradox. I'm going to watch and you with me, if you decide both parts of it. I think that will be more fun for me and for you as well. You can let me know in the comments if in the future you prefer these videos to be separate, but I don't think so, because they are really quite short. They're both under 7 minutes. So I think we can have the complete picture in one video. As I said before in some of the videos, I am like a very, very, very amateur science enthusiast, in that when I clean or if I work and I have a very mundane task, then I listen to podcasts in the background. And that's all of my knowledge on science. So I know what the Fermi Paradox is. I know that this is about the fact that supposedly we see a lot of exoplanets that life such as ours should be able to develop on, but we don't see any evidence of life. That life should be common, but we don't see any evidence of it. And I know some of the explanations like that, maybe it's not as common, maybe that civilizations are hiding from each other, a little bit like we saw in the video that I already commented on and reacted to, Dark Forest video by this channel. Or that, there is a solution like Mass Effect style, so that there's some super scary big civilization that just wipes you out once you reach too high of a level, or, it just regulates the whole universe. Which is not a very comforting thought to have right now when it is past midnight. So that's something I want to think about right now, but yeah, why not have some existential dread before bed? Without much further ado, let's kick in and see what this is about.
Are we the only living things in the entire universe? The observable universe is about 90 billion light years in diameter. There are at least 100 billion galaxies, each with 100 to 1,000 billion stars. Recently, we've learned that planets are very common too. And there are probably trillions and trillions of habitable planets in the universe, which means there should be lots of opportunity for life to develop and exist, right? But where is it? Shouldn't the universe be teeming with spaceships? Let's take a step back. Even if there are alien civilizations in other galaxies, there's no way we'll ever know about them. Basically, everything outside of our direct galactic neighborhood, the so-called local group, is pretty much out of our reach forever because of the expansion of the universe. Even if we had really fast spaceships, it would literally take billions of years to reach these places, traveling through the emptiest areas in the universe. So let's focus on the Milky Way. The Milky Way is our home galaxy. It consists of up to 400 billion stars. That's a lot of stars. Counting one per second, it would take you 100 lifetimes to count them all.
Yeah, that is a lot of stars, and I really like, I think I said before, the animations that he does in his videos, but also how he explains it. And like he said just now, just trying to comprehend these numbers, I think the human brain, we can't really imagine it, whether it comes to how much money a milliardaire really has or exactly how many stars are. I don't know if we really can comprehend numbers below a couple of million. Even with millions, I think we have trouble imagining exactly how much it is.
Counting one per second, it would take you 100 lifetimes to count them all. There are about 20 billion Sun-like stars in the Milky Way, and estimates suggest that a fifth of them have an Earth-sized planet in its habitable zone, the area with conditions that enable life to exist. If only 0.1% of those planets harbored life, there would be 1 million planets with life in the Milky Way. But wait, there's more. The Milky Way is about 13 billion years old. In the beginning, it would not have been a good place for life because things exploded a lot. But after 1 to 2 billion years, the first habitable planets were born. Earth is only 4 billion years old, so there have probably been trillions of chances for life to develop on other planets in the past. If only a single one of them had developed into a space-traveling super-civilization, we would have noticed by now. What would such a civilization look like? There are 3 categories. A Type 1 civilization would be able to access the whole energy available on its planet. In case you're wondering, we're currently around 0.73 on the scale, and we should reach Type 1 sometime in the next couple of hundred years. Type 2 would be a civilization capable of harnessing all of the energy of its home star. This would require some serious science fiction, but it is doable in principle. Concepts like the Dyson sphere, a giant complex surrounding the Sun, would be conceivable. Type 3 is a civilization that basically controls its whole galaxy and its energy. An alien race this advanced would probably be godlike to us. But why should we be able to see such an alien civilization in the first place? If we were to build generation spaceships that could sustain a population for around 1,000 years, we could colonize the whole galaxy in 2 million years. Sounds like a long time, but remember, the Milky Way is huge. So if it takes a couple of million years to colonize the entire galaxy, and there are possibly millions, if not billions, of planets that sustain life in the Milky Way, and these other life forms have had considerably more time than we've had, then where are all the aliens? This is the Fermi Paradox, and nobody has an answer to it. But we do have some ideas. Let's talk about filters. A filter in this context represents a barrier that is really hard for life to overcome. They come in various degrees of scary. 1. There are great filters, and we have passed them. Maybe it is way harder for complex life to develop than we think. The process allowing life to begin hasn't yet been completely figured out, and the conditions required may be really complicated. Maybe in the past, the universe was way more hostile, and only recently have things cooled down to make complex life possible. This would also mean that we may be unique, or at least one of the first, if not the first, civilization in the entire universe. 2. There are great filters, and they are ahead of us.
I like the little tag at the bottom that says, okay, this is pretty scary. That's me inside right now.
This one would be really, really bad. Maybe life on our level exists everywhere in the universe, but it gets destroyed when it reaches a certain point, a point that lies ahead of us. For example, awesome future technology exists, but when activated, it destroys the planet. The last words of every advanced civilization would be, "This new device will solve all of our problems once I push this button." If this is true, then we are closer to the end than the beginning of human existence. Or maybe there is an ancient Type 3 civilization that monitors the universe, and once a civilization is advanced enough, it gets eliminated in an instant. Maybe there is something out there that it would be better not to discover. There is no way for us to know. One final thought, maybe we're alone. Right now, we have no evidence that there's any life besides us. Nothing. The universe appears to be empty and dead. No one sending us messages, no one answering our calls. We may be completely alone, trapped on a tiny moist mud ball in an eternal universe. Does that thought scare you? If it does, you're having the correct emotional reaction. If we let life on this planet die, perhaps there will be no life left in the universe. Life will be gone, maybe forever. If this is the case, we just have to venture to the stars and become the first Type 3 civilization to keep the delicate flame of life existing and to spread it until the universe breathes its final breath and vanishes into oblivion. The universe is too beautiful not to be experienced by someone. This video was made possible by your...
Okay, so that's the first part over. Yeah, the thought does scare me. I think it scares everyone, but it's also, I think, easier to feel special like this. So it's a good environment for religion to flourish. I know that religion will survive in any kind of environment, and it will just twist the reality or adapt it in any way that they decide. But I do wonder what the reaction would be, say, of the Catholic Church if we found that there are aliens on other planets. I mean, we will probably have crusades to tell them about Jesus, and we'll probably adopt them into our belief systems somehow. But yeah, it does make you feel a little bit more special, like maybe there is more to it if the life should be more likely whether we are the only ones. So I guess there's some comfort in it if you're really hard looking for it. But yeah, indeed, the idea of being completely alone and the responsibility, like you highlighted at the end, that, you know, well, maybe your problems don't matter in the scheme of the universe and the Earth and everyone's lifetimes. But if we are the only people experiencing life, then maybe we should be better at it, I suppose. But yeah, this is not the end of this video though, because we have part 2 that I'm going to kick off in a second, and we can start it now.
There are probably 10,000 stars for every grain of sand on Earth in the observable universe. We know that there might be trillions of planets, so where are all the aliens? This is the Fermi Paradox. If you want to know more about it, watch part 1. Here, we look at possible solutions to the Fermi Paradox. So, will we be destroyed, or does a glorious future await us? Space travel is hard. Although possible, it's an enormous challenge to travel to other stars. Massive amounts of material have to be put into orbit and assembled. A journey of maybe thousands of years needs to be survived by a population big enough to start from scratch. And the planet might not be as hospitable as it seemed from afar. It was already extremely hard to set up a spaceship that could survive the trip. An interstellar invasion might be impossible to pull off. Also, consider time. The universe is very old. On Earth, there's been life for at least 3.6 billion years. Intelligent human life for about 250,000 years, but only for about a century have we had the technology to communicate over great distances. There might have been grand alien empires that stretched across thousands of systems and existed for millions of years, and we might just have missed them. There might be grandiose ruins rotting away on distant worlds. 99% of all species on Earth have died out. It's easy to argue that this will be our fate sooner or later. Intelligent life may develop, spread over a few systems, and die off, over and over again. But galactic civilizations might never meet, so maybe it's a unifying experience for life in the universe to look at the stars and wonder, where is everyone? But there is no reason to assume aliens are like us or that our logic applies to them. It might just be that our means of communication are extremely primitive and outdated. Imagine sitting in a house with a Morse code transmitter. You'd keep sending messages, but nobody would answer, and you'd feel pretty lonely. Maybe we're still undetectable for intelligent species, and will remain so until we learn to communicate properly.
I wonder if this assumes that their technology is also not that good, because I suppose if they were actively looking for other species but they had super good technology, they could pick up our not so good signals. Maybe, possibly. Yeah, I don't know, but then if they're actively looking for us, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? Maybe they want to come and they want to share their technology with us, and maybe they want to talk to us about their Jesus. Or maybe not. Maybe they would not like that we are here as well.
And even if we met aliens, we might be too different to be able to communicate with them in a meaningful way. Imagine the smartest squirrel you can. No matter how hard you try, you won't be able to explain our society to it. After all, from the squirrel's perspective, a tree is all that a sophisticated intelligence like itself needs to survive. So, humans cutting down whole forests is madness. But we don't destroy forests because we hate squirrels, we just want the resources. The squirrel's wishes and the squirrel's survival are of no concern to us. A Type 3 civilization in need of resources may treat us in a similar way. They might just evaporate our oceans to make collecting whatever they need easier. One of the aliens might think for a second, oh, tiny little apes, they build really cute concrete structures. Oh well, now they're dead, before activating warp speed. But if...
Yeah, that's true. If they're way more advanced than us, then there's really no reason to think that they would treat us like we treat animals. But at the same time, we are getting more and more conscious of animal rights, and we are trying to do right by them. And I think I've seen a lot of theories. Let me know what you think about it, but that say that the more advanced the civilization is, in theory, although I don't know where we get this data, but that the more peaceful it should be. So if you achieve some kind of intelligence and a better outlook at life, and you have more time, the way I understood it, to ponder about it, then you will arrive to the conclusion that it is better to be peaceful, and you will not have the need to fight for the resources anymore, because you have enough, so then you don't have to be violent. But then if you have like a super imperium and you have a lot of galaxies under your control and you need resources for them, I don't know how that would work. And it is a nice thought to think that the ideal of everything, every form of life, is to be peaceful and, stoic and Marcus Aurelius style, but I don't know if that is true. There was something else I wanted to say, but I forgot now. Maybe I'll remember in a second.
One of the aliens might think for a second, oh, tiny little apes, they build really cute concrete structures. Oh well, now they're dead, before activating warp speed. But if there is a civilization out there that wants to eliminate other species, it's far more likely that it will be motivated by culture rather than by economics. And anyway, it would be more effective to automate the process by constructing the perfect weapon. A self-replicating space probe made from nanomachines. They operate on a molecular level incredibly fast and deadly, with the power to attack and dismantle anything in an instant. You only need to give them 4 instructions. 1. Find a planet with life. 2. Disassemble everything on this planet into its component parts. 3. Use the resources to build new space probes. 4. Repeat. A doomsday machine like this could render a galaxy sterile in a few million years. But why would you fly light years to gather resources or commit genocide? The speed of light is actually not very fast. If someone could travel at the speed of light, it would still take 100,000 years to cross the Milky Way once, and you'll probably travel way slower. There might be way more enjoyable things than destroying civilizations and building empires. An interesting concept is the Matryoshka brain, a megastructure surrounding a star. A computer of such computing power that an entire species could upload their consciousness and exist in a simulated universe. Potentially, one could experience an eternity of pure ecstasies without ever being bored or sad.
Oh, I never heard about it. Now I really want to read about it more. It makes me think of, I don't know, I forgot what its concept is called, but I think it's like rooted in kind of twisted Buddhism, but a lot of anime have this concept as well, like Fluid Code Geass. I don't know if you've seen that. When they have this one mind, that we are all, the concept that we are all one. Well, it's not limited to anime or Japanese culture, but they have a lot of that. So like that, but a computer. That'd be nice. I always think that I'll be really, really annoyed if, because with the fast progress that we're doing right now, and, dying is already sucks pretty badly. But imagine if we are all, if you're a similar age to me, we're like 90 or 95 and we're nearing the end of our life, and we can see that the technology is being developed to upload yourself into a system, but you can no longer use it because it's not complete yet. Or maybe it will be developed just as we die. That'd be pretty annoying. I mean, there's of course a variety of reasons to consider whether you really wanna live forever in the computer brain, whether that would still be you, blah, 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 blah. But still, I would like to have that option. So, yeah. And I think what I wanted to say before is also when we consider aliens, because he talked about squirrels, but that's still thinking in Earth terms and carbon-based being terms, and that's already a very wide category. But if we look at science fiction, we often see, like hive minds, like in Ender's Game, the book. I think there's a movie too, but I haven't seen it, where they just have this hive mind of creatures that, this may be a spoiler, so if you haven't read this book, The Ender's Game, but you want to, don't listen to what I'm going to say right now, but I'm going to raise my hand, I'll lower it when I finish the spoiler. But then they have an alien race of this worm ant-like creatures that have a hive mind, and they all communicate with each other like instantaneously, and because of that they don't really understand the importance of a single unit like we do. Like every human life for us is precious, well, unless it's the war and it's not, but in principle. And they didn't understand that by killing some people, they were hurting us, because they thought, as long as the hive survives, there's no problem. That's simplifying it very much, but just the differences in thinking. Oscar Scott Card is the name of the author. He also describes different races and AI races and the differences in their thinking. It's really good if you are interested in that. But I suppose I'm spoilering still, so I'm not recommending it to anyone. It is really good. I hope you agree with me if you've read it. Spoiler of it. What I said is that this book is also very good in how it describes different possibilities of how life could develop and how that life would then think, whether that's a computer-based life or life that functions a little bit differently than on Earth. I also have a very good Polish author. He's called Stanisław Lem. He has the book Solaris that you might have heard of, because I know it's kind of more internationally known. And then one of the forms of life is an ocean, but it's not an ocean made of water, it's an ocean made of something else. And it's also a fascinating book about how we could be absolutely unable to communicate with a different species, not only because they would be better than us and they would see us as like just little animals living in the forest, but just because we could never imagine the concept of how they think. And also from the most recent movies, I didn't really enjoy it, but we watched The Arrival with Waldemar. And it's another spoiler, so I'm going to raise my hand again when I lower it. Spoiler is over if you want to watch the movie. But in that movie, they have a really interesting concept of how language works. So they have entire sentences written into like one circular form of words, I suppose. And they have a similar outlook on time. So they see present, past, and future at the same time. And the same concepts apply to language. That's the circle is like full concept being translated. Very interesting concept. Not a very good movie in my opinion. Yeah, but I blabbered on for a long time. I think I have a lot of editing to do. But let's keep watching.
Perfect life. If built around a red dwarf, this computer could be powered for up to 10 trillion years. Who would want to conquer the galaxy or make contact with other life forms if this were an option? All these solutions to the Fermi Paradox have one problem. We don't know where the borders of technology are. We could be close to the limit or nowhere near it, and super technology awaits us, granting us immortality, transporting us to other galaxies, elevating us to the level of gods. One thing we do have to acknowledge is that we really don't know anything. Humans have spent more than 90% of their existence as hunter-gatherers. 500 years ago, we thought we were the center of the universe. 200 years ago, we stopped using human labor as the main source of energy. 30 years ago, we had apocalyptic weapons pointed at each other because of political disagreements. In the galactic timescale, we are embryos. We've come far, but still have a long way to go. The mindset that we really are the center of the universe is still strong in humans, so it's easy to make arrogant assumptions about life in the universe. But in the end, there's only one way to find out, right? Hey everybody, we finally have our own subreddit.
Yeah, I really like this video and I really like this channel. I would like to watch more of it if you guys would like it as well. It's really informative, but it's not too long, not too much information. I think if you don't know anything about science, it's a good way to start. If you know a bit about science like me, it was not boring, even though I knew a lot of this stuff. It was really nicely organized. I really like it, and the animations are cute with the little birds. I like that. Yeah, and like it says at the end, it's only one way to see, right? But not for us, probably. So the most we can do is watch this video. Yeah, if you liked reacting with me, please leave me a like. You can subscribe to our channel as well, because it helps us grow a lot. And yeah, if you could leave any comments about your thoughts on this, it's amazing. Every time you guys engage in discussion under mine or our videos. I think that's all I wanted to say on this one. I'm definitely excited to kick in with some more of his videos. Please, you can also recommend me some other science channels if you want, or maybe other videos of Kurzgesagt. I'm gonna say it again because I'm proud that I can kind of say it right. Yeah, so if there's anything you would like me to watch first, let me know. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.